Hey guys, so today's video is a follow-up to my last video, and in my last video I went over the things in my life that caused me to have depression, and particularly if you've been around for a while and you saw that I had gained weight and then lost it. I always say I gained weight because I was depressed. Well, I never told you what the depression was from. I never went over what I was going through for the majority of my 20s, and in that video I tell you all about it. So if you want to know what I've actually been through, go check out that video. Another reason I want you guys to know what I've been through is because I am in the process of becoming a certified life coach, and I don't want you just to look at me and think like, oh, she looks so happy, she has her life together. Like, I went through some stuff. How I overcame it is the topic of this video, so I'm just going to dive right into that. So a couple of years ago, I was just at a really low point, and I was like bedridden for weeks just because I was so depressed. I felt hopeless. And I had a friend who went on Amazon and sent me 2 self-help personal development books. And although I hated reading, I was like, I will try anything at this point to feel better, because this is not how my life was supposed to go. I always felt like I had so much potential and my life was not in a good place. So although I didn't like reading, I'm like, okay, whatever, I'll try anything right now. So I read the books, and the first book I read was The Miracle Morning, and it's all about like getting a solid morning routine down, but not just a morning routine, one that really starts your day off right and your mindset off right. I'm not gonna go all over the steps of that book, but just know that is definitely a resource I recommend. And then after I read The Miracle Morning, I then read the second book that was sent to me, which was called The Success Principles: How to Get from Where You Are to Where You Want to Be. And that book I absolutely love. Jack Canfield is the author of that book, and he is one of the people in the documentary or the Netflix movie The Secret. You probably, hopefully have heard of that. Most people have. But yeah, Jack Canfield was in The Secret, and he is the author and the writer of The Success Principles. So that introduced me to a lot of law of attraction principles. And if you don't know what the law of attraction is, I'll just quickly say it is the law, the universal law, that the things that you focus on, that's what you draw into your life. So if your mind's super negative, you're focusing on all the bad in your life, more bad is gonna show up, and you're just gonna continue to focus on the bad. If you change your perspective and focus on the good things, the things you're grateful for in your life, you're gonna start to notice way more good things, and you're going to therefore draw in more good things. The whole thing behind it is like attracts like. So yeah, I learned about the law of attraction from that book, and I mean, it's taken a lot throughout the years to really grasp it, but that's what really first got me into personal development. So those 2 books I'm always so grateful for, and like I said, I'm not gonna go into detail of my whole depression situation that I went over in my last video, but I will quickly say that in that video you'll find out that I was in a very long relationship with an active alcoholic, and that's what a big portion of my depression was from. And once he got sober, I still didn't feel better. I still felt like a mess. And it was suggested that I go to AlAnon, and AlAnon is a 12-step program for the loved ones of alcoholics. And I thought I would go and I would learn how to deal with alcoholics better. But no, the whole program is take the focus off the alcoholic, put the focus on fixing yourself. So in that program, I really learned how you really can't change another person. They can only change themselves. And I feel like I spent so much of my life trying to fix people and try to help them, but that took all of the focus off myself, when really the best way to help people is to be the best version of yourself and give from that place. Like when you've had everything sucked out of you because you keep trying to give, but you haven't done any work on yourself, that's just gonna leave you depleted and feeling miserable, and it's just not a good place to be. So the best way to help other people is to first get centered and strong in yourself. I did not continue going to AlAnon. I went for a few months, and some people it's a lifelong thing. But for me, I just didn't want to label myself as that. Like, I'm so much more than that. Some people that program is great for. For me, I decided just to go on the personal development path, like the self-help, the self-me, but I did learn a lot from that. And if you are someone who is a loved one of an alcoholic or an addict, I highly recommend going to AlAnon. It'll probably open your eyes up to a lot of things that you might be doing wrong, or you might be thinking you're helping a person, but really you're enabling. So definitely if that's something that you deal with in your life, I highly recommend AlAnon. It can really help. And then after that, I just continued to work on myself. I noticed that I had a lot of very bad thought patterns that I had to overcome. I feel like a lot of people do. Whether these thoughts were things that we got from our family or our parents when we were younger, or judgments that we heard from another person that we just like clung onto and decided to believe was the truth about us. So those negative thoughts in your head, those aren't the truth. We just hold on to them and we identify with them. Let those go. And I know it's easier said than done, but for me to really reprogram the thoughts in my head, I had to like pay attention to what I was saying. And still to this day, I don't have a ton of negative thoughts about myself running through my head anymore. But to this day, if a negative thought, like a judgmental thought of myself pops up in my head, I have to stop myself. Like I catch that thought and I reword it. Like maybe I'll go out in public and then later on I'll be like, oh my gosh, you were so embarrassing. Nobody likes you. I literally stop myself, say, no, that is not the truth. You are loving, you are caring, you are a good person. I just turn the wording around and compliment myself. Another thing that I realized with the negative thoughts is we all have that inner child in us. Like we are the same person. Our soul is the same as we were when we were a little child. So think of yourself as that little kid that you used to be. Would you tell a little kid all of these horrible things about them? Would you tell them like, you're ugly, you're embarrassing? No, that would be horrible parenting. And I learned that I actually like had to parent myself. Like think of myself, who I am on the inside, as that same little kid who just wanted to be happy, just wanted to play, just wanted to love, and treat yourself like that. Treat yourself like you would a little child. And I hope you would treat a little child well. But yeah, that's how I had to start viewing myself. Like I am that same little girl. I like to play. I love animals. I like to help people. I like to believe that anything's possible and the world's magical. And I just had lost that over the years. So just like really try to dig in and remember who you were back before things changed. I will say this is not something that I just did once and all of a sudden I'm better. I, on the daily, every single day, work on myself. It's a never-ending thing, the personal development thing, and it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Like if you watch my morning routines, I wake up, I meditate, I journal, I have gratitude, and I put in the effort to be the best version of myself that I can be. And when I do get those negative thoughts, not only about myself, but about life or people, I catch myself. So that's just a huge tool in anything, whether it's how you're speaking to yourself or how you're viewing other people. Catch yourself and be like, whoa, that's not right. The thing is, like I used to be so hurt by what other people thought of me. That's another thing that I had to teach myself, that if someone is judging you, well, there are a few options. You could be assuming that they're judging you. Their thoughts may not be on you at all, but you're just letting your mind cycle that way, thinking like, oh my gosh, they're judging me. They're thinking all these things. But that's just you projecting what you think they're thinking, and that's not even what they're thinking. Or if they really are judging you in that way, just know that any person who is going to have some sort of negative feelings towards you, like they're going through their own stuff. Them judging you does not mean that that's the truth about you. That is a reflection of who they are and what they're going through at the moment. Like a person who's shaming you and telling you that you can't do the things that you want to do, that's because they're going through their own self-doubt. They don't believe that the things that they want to do is possible. So why would they want to believe that what you want to do is possible? So it's really like detaching from putting too much meaning around anyone throwing negativity at you, even if that's yourself. Like disconnect and recenter. And I honestly have come to learn that we all go through so much in our lives and we get really confused. But when it comes down to it, when we're back to who we really, really, really are, like without the fear, without the judgments, without all of the things that have brought us down, like we just want love, we want to be accepted, and we want to feel safe and okay, and we just forget that. And again, going back to the fact that this is a daily practice for me, like every single day. Every single day I have to put effort into feeling good. And I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing. Like I enjoy that. I know that if I do these things that I do, if I read the personal development books, if I, meditate and I do all the inner work, I'm going to feel so good. And that's going to help people. Because before, I wanted to help people, but I was like, the world is so bad. It feels hopeless. I wanted to like fight with the fear and the pain. But by fighting with those negative things in our life, that doesn't create anything positive. Like, you can't fight fire with fire. You cannot put out a fire by lighting it on fire. How can you come at that with love? So the people that disagree with us or, are just super negative minded, it doesn't help for us to come at them with hate. That will never change their perspective. That just like makes you butt heads. The only way to change another person's perspective that's in a dark place is to come at them with love and understanding. And that's what I'm trying to do here. I feel like I'm rambling a bit, but in all honesty, it's helped me a lot to really figure out what I have passion for and what positive impact I want to bring to the world. And I've realized that all the depression and the things that I've gotten through, I'm not mad or upset about those things. I feel like so many people, things happen in their lives and they hold on to that as a grudge and a reason to hate the world and hate everything going on. But for me, instead of looking at those things that happened in my life, the things that I talked about in my last video, instead of like taking that and identifying that as my story and that's what's wrong and I'm so mad about it, I take that and I use it as a lesson. Like, I was hurt, I went through all of those things, and I was able to detach myself from feeling victimized by any of that, being the girl whose boyfriend died, or being the girl who dated an alcoholic, or any of that. I'm not identifying with any of that. I am acknowledging that I experienced all of that, and I'm appreciating the lessons that I learned, because if I would not have gone through all of that and had to rebuild myself up, it wouldn't have led me to the personal development. It wouldn't have led me to where I am right now. And where I am right now, I just feel good. Like, I feel better than I've ever felt in my entire life. And I feel love, and I feel like anything is possible. And with that love, I just made a post about this. Like, you can either live your life through love, or you can live your life through fear. When you live your life through love, you see the good in the world, and you see that, yeah, there are hurt people, but they can change. Like, I don't buy that crap that people say, like, people can't change. No, people can change. The people who want to change can change. The people who don't want to change, they won't change. But I know that I can't change anyone. I can only change myself. And maybe by what I say and what I share with you guys, maybe that will make someone out there watching this video want to change for themselves. I can't make you change. You can only make you change. And that's the thing, when I start coaching, I can't change anyone's life. I can only tell you what I've done, and you can do it for yourself. And that's why I make these videos, because I hope that if I share with you how I got out of the hard places in my life, then you can apply the things that I've done to yourself and see how it works out. Because if you stick with it, it'll work. The way that I got out of the hard points in my life was because I took advice from books or podcasts or, just like anything out there that I could get my hands on as far as personal development goes. And I applied those teachings to my life. And that is how this happened. That is how I progressed so much in my life. And I feel great. So that's the loving side of life. Or you can live through fear. And fear is focusing on all of the negatives, focusing on how that person did me wrong and they ruined my life, focusing on my parents did this, so that's the reason I am the way I am, saying I am depressed. Like, don't identify with all of that stuff. Don't identify with that stuff. That is living through fear. Go the opposite way. Go the opposite way. Everything has happened for a reason in your life. You are not a victim. You have the power to change it. You have the power to look at the things you've gone through in your life as learning experiences and appreciate it. And when you get to a point where you're feeling good, just know that if you wouldn't have gone through everything you've gone through in your life, your life would not be where it is right now. And that can apply to whether it's in a good state or a bad state, however you're perceiving it. My alarm's going off, meaning I have to stop this video because I have a webinar to get to for my coaching program. Alexa, stop. But yeah, you can either live through love or through fear. You can't do both. They say love and fear cannot coexist at the same time. So which do you want to pick? Like, this is our one life that we have to live. So why not pursue the best life possible? That's all I'm saying. But I have to go. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments if you have any questions or video topics you want me to make videos on, anything you want me to elaborate more on. Let me know down there. Give this video a like if you enjoyed it, and I will see you soon with a new video. Bye guys.